Today, from NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Eastman and Laird line, I reviewed Jack Kirby. Okay, technically it's just Kirby from the old Mirage Studios Donatello one-shot. But come on, we all know who it really is. Okay, the way I do reviews is done in 6 parts. First, I'll look at the sculpt and the detail of the figure, then I'll check out the accessories. The third part is I'll look at the articulation and see if there's anything crazy going on here. The fourth part, I'll tell you if I think he's really good for toy photography. Number 5, we'll check out size comparison. 6, I'll give my final thoughts. And then after that, we can all go home and read and watch adventures of some of the greatest pop culture characters that have ever been created. Alright, I just want to let you know up front that I'm a bit of a comic nerd, so my whole impression of this figure might be a little biased. The fact that I've got a representation of Jack Kirby, Kirby in my hand makes me really happy. So, just checking out the details, you've got everything going on here that NECA does so well. They crush it with the paint. They didn't do a lot here, but there's a lot of line work to make it look like the comic from the Donatello one-shot, which is very cool. I'm a big fan of such things. We're going to move him over here a little bit because Casey keeps trying to steal his focused thunder. But yeah, this is just, I'm just stoked to have this, to be perfectly honest. That's really all there is to it, is I'm just absolutely excited that this thing even exists. I was hoping that NECA was going to be able to go this deep with their Eastman and Laird line, and the fact that they did, I'm a happy camper. Nothing too complicated here, but it's Kirby, so I'm not at all upset about the look or the detail or any of the things going on with this figure. There you go. That's the sculpt and detail. And now it's accessory time, as Kirby came with Don's anti-gravity gun that Kirby drew him in the Donatello one-shot from Mirage Comics. Good stuff, NECA. And then there's this. I need to get back into my Turtles lore because I don't remember what I'm looking at here, but I do enjoy that NECA makes sure to add paint to all this stuff. Just looks really good. And now there's Kirby's sketchbook, which he was using to come up with ideas during his and Don's adventure into the dimension that Kirby had accidentally made with all his creations. There's one of his creations right there. Complete with the front of it, which you really can read if you get up on it. Don, life at best is bittersweet. Take care of yourself, Kirby. I love the extra stuff that NECA puts into this. And we've got this little Kirby creation, kind of a monster reminiscent, I would say, of a parademon. Very good stuff, as we know. Kirby came up with the new gods for DC, and yeah, this thing looks like inspiration. The only thing is, of course, the new gods happened before this story in the Turtles comic. Kirby comes with these 2 gripping hands, and a slightly larger gripping hand, I'm guessing, for this contraption. And of course, my favorite accessory, which is Kirby's drawing hand. He also comes with that pencil with the warp crystal on it for, drawing and traveling to different dimensions. Love this kind of detail. Now, NECA's focus doesn't tend to be articulation anyway, and when you have a character like Kirby here, well, you're not really looking for this crazy articulated kind of thing happening. So, I did want to show you it's pretty limited. It's not terrible, but it definitely could be better. So there's from the hip. You're gonna get the double jointed knee, so all that's fine. It's really where the big limitation is the hip, and it's difficult to really show everything with NECA because they kind of treat each figure as an individual. There's not really standard articulation for a lot of them. So something else I noticed that's kind of cool. At the base of his neck, there is a ball. You can't really see it there, but here, let's try this. So here you go, and then if you lean it forward, you can see his head goes forward quite a bit, and then you can lean it back quite a bit. And he's also got the ball joint, or the ball peg, I suppose, the dumbbell joint perhaps, let's call it that, at the top of the head that allows for all that kind of stuff. So he's got the neck joint and the ball peg, which gives him decent range when it comes to the neck anyway. Focus, Jack. There you go. It's hard to really tell what's going on at the diaphragm. It does look like he angles that way if I really crank on it. Try to keep the leg straight here. Which makes me think there is a little bit of a diaphragm joint going on, but not tons of one. And finally, the way the elbows were done was kind of imaginative, I think. Check out where the joint is. We've got one at the top there, we've got one at the bottom there, but they're almost kind of, I was going to say mid-arm, but that's sort of where an elbow is. The way they are, though, this joint looks higher in his arm than you're used to seeing, or than I'm used to seeing. But because of the sculpt, it's hidden well and works well. That's the thought that goes into the whole NECA thing. Now, the way it works is pretty good. I would say that's a solid bend. So with all that said, what do I think of this guy when it comes to toy photography? Well, if you're looking for an action figure that is really action-y, this isn't your guy. This isn't going to make things happen. This isn't going to get it done. He's got plenty of extra hands. He's got plenty of accessories. He looks the part, and even though I didn't bring it up, while he does have a waist cut, it's hidden by the sweater. So if I wanted to take a picture of him from the top, I could do that. I could turn it, and you wouldn't see any kind of unsightly flat plastic going on, because that's why I don't like a waist cut. Get down here, same deal. So yeah, I think as far as functionally for what he is, for the type of character he is, I think he'll work pretty well with your toy photography, but he's not somebody that you're going to want to get if you want a figure that's going to be all dynamic and stuff. He also has fair articulation, I suppose, but the shine on him is different for NECA. NECA doesn't usually go all that shiny with their stuff. Now, his skin isn't too bad, but the cloth on his sweater and his jeans or pants a little bit, they're not great. Like, you can kind of see the shine of the shirt right there. So look out for that. Just make sure when you're shooting them, you throw a diffuser in front of the key light. And now, let's see how Jack sizes up with a whole lot of figures from a whole lot of lines. Remember, everything shown in this video will be available at affiliate links in the video description below. So bye. I'm not proud of that. Any of that. Here's Kirby with a couple figures from NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Eastman and Laird line. We have Zog and Donatello, and quick note, Donatello's anti-gravity gun does not fit on that arm smoothly. I had to attach the hand with a lot of force from Donnie onto the gun, and then the hand itself is not attached to Don's arm. It looks good, but functionally, that thing ain't sliding on there. Here's Kirby with NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Eastman and Laird's Casey Jones, and NECA's Space Usagi from the Usagi Yojimbo 4-pack. I likes both these characters and figures, and figured I'd throw them in here just so you could see sort of what another human, and of course, what a rabbit looks like with Kirby. And because I can, here's Kirby with the G.I. Joe Classified Sergeant Slaughter and the Retro Scarlett. Here's Kirby with Action Forces Duster and Eclipse. Here's Kirby with Jada Toys Street Fighter II Ultra Fei Long and Chun-Li. And no way was I missing this comparison. We have Jack the King Kirby, we have Stan the Man Lee, and we have two of their creations, Mafex's Tiny Thor and Iron Man. My overall thoughts on this Kirby action figure? Well, let's start with the bad. He's a little shiny. I do expect NECA to not be as shiny as this figure is. He's not even an overly impressive action figure. But that's the bad. The good? He comes with a drawing hand, and ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed Marvel Comics at any point, if you've enjoyed the MCU at any point, chances are Jack Kirby was involved in the creation of some of those characters that you enjoy. The man is comic book history. So, honestly, you need this in your collection for the same reason that you need a Stan Lee in your collection. For the same reason you might even pick up the Todd McFarlane from McFarlane Toys and put him in your collection. You need him because he is pop culture history. Even if he's not this particularly insanely awesome action figure. It's not like you need the co-creator of some of your favorite characters to really be able to articulate all that much. And that's it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Do me a solid for the almighty YouTube algorithm. And comment below and let me know, what do you think of Kirby? What do you think of maybe some of the characters that Jack Kirby created? Was he a big part of your childhood and you didn't even know it? Because honestly, he was a much bigger part of mine than I ever thought possible. And with that, thanks as always for checking out today's video. It's massively appreciated. So until next time, have fun and happy snapping. See ya. Okay, here's something I found out that I didn't know before. It turns out that Jack Kirby was the cover artist to Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man. So he's the guy that drew Spider-Man swinging from the buildings holding the guy. That's insane. I, for whatever reason, just always assumed it was Ditko.